All right, I am back after that long hunter rant, and we're gonna go back. We're gonna go over Mage now. So, Mage, what did Mage get exactly? Mage, they didn't get that much this set. So if we take a look, they got All right, so the key thing that Mage got is Volatile Skeleton Synergy. Why? Because of this. Kel'Thuzad, the inevitable battlecry, resurrect your volatile skeletons. Any that can't fit on the battlefield instantly explode. So you can use this to clear board, to go face, do a bunch of different things here. So that's okay. That's a constructed synergy. Should not be that good. I'm still rating it 3 stars because the skeletons here, most of the skeleton stuff here is actually not that bad. Because you've got like 3 different cards that also work with this. Okay, number 1 here, you got Cold Case. Summon 2/2 volatile skeletons, gain 4 armor. I mean, that's honestly better than a regular 4-drop. So, like for me, that's a 3-star card. You got a 3-star card where you get 2 skeletons there, and this is a common, so you're going to draft this a lot. I would take this over Yeti, personally. So I think that one is fine. Number 2 is Deathborn. Deal 2 damage to all minions. Summon a 2/2 volatile skeleton for each one killed. I think this is a 3-star card. I think it's been my experience that it's not that easy to kill things that have 2 health. So, like, if you can get like 3 or 4 things off with this, that is really, really strong. Like, I'm not going to deny that. But I don't think, like, you might only get like 1 or 2, and then you're playing a... And remember, this also triggers on your board as well. So you're doing this, you're playing a volcanic potion, and then you have to you need to have like 3 to kind of justify it. And that's I'm not sold on it. I don't think it's going to work that well. I think in the current arena, like, it won't be that great, so I can't go 3 on it. On the other hand, I brought this up earlier. Nightcloak Sanctum. Freeze a minion, summon a 2/2 volatile skeleton. So I think this is a great card. I think this is a 6-star card. I think this is incredibly powerful. Like, as I said, I compared it to Frostwolf Kennels. You have Frostwolf Kennels, which give you 3 2/2 stealths. This gives you 3 2/2s that freeze something. Now, it takes longer to get there, but ultimately, as long as you get there, this is going to be better. So ultimately, like, if Kennels is like a 4 or 5-star card, this is easily a 6-star card. And here's the other thing. You don't have to trigger this. Like Paladin, they have a similar effect coming up where you don't have to trigger this every single time it's up. You can hold it, and then your opponent is going to be mind games where they cannot play a big minion because they know if they play a big minion, you have this freeze here ready to block out their big minion. And I think that is like an incredibly powerful effect. So ultimately, it's a 6-star card. So, point being, you've got 3 cards that summon multiple skeletons, and they're all good cards, and you're probably going to have 1. So that's why I think Kel'Thuzad is ultimately a 3-star card, because it will work sometimes. All right, what else did Mage get? Mage got Secret Synergy. All right, so the big payoff for it is here. Orion the Mansion Manager. After a friendly secret is revealed, cast a different mage secret and gain +2/+2. So in theory, this can trigger infinitely. In reality, you need to have a secret up. The secret needs to have not triggered. Then you need to play this. Then you have to trigger the secret afterwards. So is that going to happen? I think that's such like way. It's too much effort. That's what I'm gonna say. It's too much effort. So the payoff here, like in constructed, you can do things with this. Like the 2/3 that makes a secret cost 0. You can play that with this, and you can guarantee that the secret will go off, and then you get the random secrets in this. So in constructed, I see this working. In arena, so that's why I have it as a 3- card, like about a Yeti level. So what other secret synergy did Mage get here? They have that. They have their new secret, Vengeful Visage. After an enemy minion attacks your hero, summon a copy of it to attack the enemy hero. So people know how to play around Explosive Trap. People know how to play around Vaporize. That's just ingrained into their soul. So this isn't going to work. Like, that's just the thing. People will figure it out, and people will play something small that'll go into the face. So ultimately, it's going to do nothing for a lot of turns, and when it does do something, it's not going to work. Like we've seen secrets like that. So for me, that's like it's a 1-star card. And finally, Chatty Bartender. At the end of your turn, if you control a secret, deal 2 damage to all enemies. I mean, that's a good effect. Are you going to have secrets to control? Probably not. So, like, I can't go too high on this. Like, we know secret synergy. It's just, it's not going to work. I mean, that's just a bit, we know it doesn't work. So, ultimately, 2-star card. Like, it's better than the 4/4, definitely, but it's not going to work. And then Mage just got, like, a bunch of just cool Mage stuff. Suspicious Alchemist, discover a spell. If your opponent guesses your choice, they get a copy. So, you could play the spell, and your opponent will be able to guess it on their turn, obviously. Or you hold it, and your opponent, there's a chance they don't get it. Or you have like you have a spell, and you don't want your opponent to have it, so you take a lower spell, and then your opponent has to try to guess, okay, which spell are they going to have taken? So it's still a 1-mana 1/3 gain a spell, and sometimes your opponent gains one, but usually you get one. So obviously, good card. 1-mana 1/3 generates a card is good. That's 4-star card. All right, what else here? Solid Alibi. Until your next turn, your hero can only take 1 damage at a time. Just bad. It's just really, really bad. Like it's not even healing, it's delayed damage. So yeah, 1-star minus, don't pick this. And then finally, Frozen Touch. Deal 3 damage, infuse, add a Frozen Touch to your hand. So basically, you deal 3, you trigger the infuse on this, and then if you play this, you get another card. And if you trigger the infuse on that card, then you can get another card. So you do have you do need to infuse, which is going to take a while, but you do have potentially infinite amounts of damage there. So 4-star card, like just very good card, very solid card from Mage. And it's like you're not always going to be able to infuse. Sometimes you have to give up the dream, but that just happens sometimes. All right. Paladin probably got the best set outside of Hunter in this set. So, what did Paladin get? Paladin, they have Recruit Synergy. So, I'm just going to start off with the super broken card here, Steward the Steward. So, Steward the Steward, Death Rattle, give the next Silverhand Recruit you summon +3/+3 and this Death Rattle. So, what this means is, if your opponent does not have a Transform or a Silence, your hero power basically becomes 2 mana, summon a 4/4. Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. So that is that's a 6-star card. That's the best card in the set. Your opponents will have some silence. They will have some transforms. Not all of them will, but this is a card that will just single-handedly win games on its own. And then what other? Oh yeah, and I also forgot to mention, because Paladins have the Silverhand Recruits, that's just like natural synergy built into the class. So, what other recruit cards do they have? Sinful Sous Chef, add 2 Silverhand Recruits to your hand. This is basically an Acorn Bearer. We've seen Acorn Bearer, that's a 5-star card. This is a 5-star card. We don't really need, sorry, that's a 5-star card. This is a 5-star card. We don't really need to go into that. You should know that by now. You've got here, Promotion. More synergy stuff. More recruit synergy. Give a Silverhand Recruit +3/+3. So, the absolute worst case for this is you get a 3 mana 4/4. That's good. You can play that on curve. You can play that on a 1/1 that's in your hand from the other card. It's just really, really good. So that one there, 4-star card. Just really solid card. You've got Buffet Biggin. Battle Cry. Summon 2 Silverhand Recruits, infuse 3, give them +2 attack and Divine Shield. So, you only play this with the infuse. But again, you have Recruit Synergy, so you get to have this. So, infuse 3, give them +2 attack and Divine Shield. What's that? That's a Scarlet Crusader, for those of you who remember the good old days. So, you basically get 9 mana's worth of value for 4 if you're able to infuse this. And you've got like moderate, so like you can buff them with the promotion. You can buff them with the Steward to Steward. So overall, is this a good card? Yes, definitely. So this is So yeah, and I think, as I said, the Infuse 3, that is not hard to trigger. So again, that's like another 4-star card. So Paladin also gets kind of uh, Paladin stuff. So you got the Countess. If your deck has no neutral cards, add 3 legendary invitations to your hand. The legendary invitations are discover legendary minions from another class. They cost 0. So that it's going to be banned for Arena. The other cards are like this were banned for Arena. So even if it was, it's a 2-star card. It's a 7/7 because that's not going to happen. You got Service Spell. Discover a class card from your deck and draw all copies of it. So there is actually a case in Arena. Like, I'm going to say this. Usually, it's going to be 3 mana, draw 1. Arena is the one place where it's going to be 3 mana, draw 3, or 3 mana, draw 4, or 3 mana, draw 5. In those cases, you definitely take this card. In those cases, you definitely take this card. In general, it's a 1-star card. Like, it's a 1-star plus with the caveat that Arena is the one place where this thing can be absolutely insane. And you get, where is he? The Elitist Snob. 5 mana, 3/4. For each Paladin card in your hand, randomly gain Divine Shield, Lifesteal, Rush, or Taunt. So, here's the problem. This card is complete garbage if you do not get Divine Shield. If you get Divine Shield, then it's fine. But if you do not get Divine Shield, it's just complete garbage. Because, like, let's say you get a Rush, Taunt, Lifesteal. 5 mana, 3/4, Rush, Taunt, Lifesteal. That's bad. I mean, that's not worth 5 mana. That's like a decent 4 mana card, a bad 5 mana card. So if you get all 4, it's basically a better Zilliax. But okay, I don't think you're gonna have 4 Paladin cards in hand. Like, I don't think the recruits. Like, I'm pretty sure that the Sinful Sous Chef, the recruits are not Paladin. Okay. Okay, the recruits actually are Paladin cards because they do have the Paladin border there. I was going to say, I don't think the recruits are Paladin cards, but they do show them there. So that is a possibility. Where you have a Sinful Sous Chef, and you hold on to the recruits for that. So I was actually wrong on that. But I think ultimately, like, you need at least 3. You need at least 3 for this to work. And I don't think it's reliable enough, so ultimately it's a 1-star card. So, okay, so that's what else. And then Paladin just got some stuff that's just strong on its own. Divine Toll. Shoot 5 rays at random minions. They give friendly minions +2/+2 and deal 2 damage to enemy minions. So for this, it's kind of weird because this would be much better if it was one or the other. If it was 7 mana, deal 8 among enemy minions, that would be better. If it was, deal 10 among enemy minions, that would be better. If it was 7 mana, give your minions randomly +10, +10, that would be better. Here, the split is weird, and it's unreliable. Like, maybe if you can, maybe your opponent has a small enough board where it can deal with the board and buff your stuff. That's a possibility. So overall, I think it's a 3-star card. I think the other effects might be 4 stars, but I think just like the combination, the RNG is 3 stars. Muckborn Servant, Taunt. Battlecry, discover a Paladin card. Stonehill Defender is crying in a corner somewhere. Okay, so yeah, it's Taunt. It's a better Stonehill Defender. Like, that's all you really need to know about it. Like, Paladin cards are good. It's a 4-star card. Finally, Great Hall. 2 mana, 3 charge location. Set a minion's attack and health to 3. This is going to piss a lot of people off, and I understand why. So the thing with the Great Hall is that when you play this, you want to play this to kind of like zone out your opponent. You can play it like you can play it on 2, and your opponent's just always going to be zoned out because of this. But I don't think it's really good 2. Like, there's other locations that are good on 2, but I don't think it's a good one there. I think you play this like turn 5 or turn 6 after your opponent plays a big minion, and you want to shrink that minion, and then you hold it because you want to zone out your opponent so they cannot play a big minion, or if they play a big minion, it's just going to get removed, and so you force your opponent into bad plays. So ultimately, 5-star card. Where is it? Yeah, 5-star card. Just it will be super annoying to play against. Okay, we got priest here. Next, priest. So what did priest get? Priest. Priest doesn't really have a theme. I'll just say that. Priest does not really have a theme going through. Like the theme. Okay, I'll start off with this one here. Pelagos. Pelagos is kind of a theme. After you cast a spell on a friendly minion, set its attack and health to the higher of the two. So overall, I just don't see it working. I think it's just like it's too cute, and a 3-mana 1/6 is garbage. I think it's a 1-star card. You don't really have that many priest buffs. Like even in this set, your priest buff is Boom of the Ascendant. So give a minion +2 health, summon a Kyrian equal to its stats, and taunt. So the Kyrian here, so it can get silenced, which obviously sucks. But this is kind of like it's 4-mana Faceless Manipulator, except whatever you copy has taunt and +2 health buff. So that by itself, I mean, that's a good card. I mean, I'm not going to say that's not a good card. That is a 3-star plus card. Like Faceless Manipulator is kind of like a 2-ish card. So this is a 3-star plus card just because of the mana discount and plus the bonus effects. All right. So like that's kind of the synergy it has. There's also the copy synergy, which is based around this. Harvester of Envy. After you copy a card from your opponent, steal the original. So you play that. So basically, you copy a bunch of cards from your opponent. You play this. You play this. Then you copy a bunch of cards from your opponent and you steal it. So you can steal like they go into your hand. Like you can steal cards from their hand. You can steal cards from their deck. You can make them run out of cards if you get the right deck with this. In Arena, it's a little too cute. So ultimately, it's a 3-drop. I just say it's a 3-star card. You might be able to do something with it, but I think most of the time it's just a little bit too cute to go for the effect. So what copy synergy do you have? You have here, Identity Theft. Discover copy from your opponent's hand and deck. It's... Alright, so I compare this to Arcane Intellect. The copy in your opponent's hand and deck are probably going to be better than the 2 random cards you would get from your deck. Like if you compare it to Arcane Intellect. Because you're filtering through a set of cards that's already been filtered. And if you say your deck is equal, you're filtering 3 cards, you're picking the best one from that. So even without the class synergy, I think this is better than an Arcane Intellect, and that would ultimately put it at a 3-star card, a low 3-star card, because Arcane Intellect is a 2-star card. So a little bit better than that. Mysterious Visitor here. Oh, sorry. No, not you. Mysterious Visitor. Mysterious Visitor. Battlecry. Reduce the cost of cards copied from your opponent by 2. So you get those 2 cards from there, you play this, you reduce the cost. I mean, like pretty much here, I mean, that's just a good card if you've got the copy synergy. It's just, there isn't really that much copy synergy in the set. So ultimately, like for this card here, I think it's better than 2-star card. I'd say it's a low 3-star card because you will get some things for it. Like there are things like Draken of Operative that I work with. Like I'm not sure if Draken of Operative actually works with it. Let me check here. I'm actually going to live check this here. All right, so let me turn off sparse data. Let me go to priest. Let me get rid of spells. Let me get a minions. Minions 5. Okay, so it is copy. All right, so that does work. It is copy. All right, I'm just randomly checking here how that would work. But yeah, it does work. Okay. So like there's enough copy stuff that it can work, but I wouldn't take it over like an actual 2-drop that does something. All right. So, all right, and then other stuff that Priest has. You have here their location, Cathedral of Atonement. So give a minion +2/1 and draw a card. So ultimately, it's 3 mana, draw 3 cards, and buff your minion 3 times. A 2/1 buff is kind of, it's not great. Like if you compare it to the Hunter one, it's 2 mana, give a minion +2 attack. This is 2 mana, give a minion +2 attack and +1. The +1 is kind of negated unless you can make the trade. So it's basically you play this to draw the cards. And again, is that bad? No. I mean, it's not bad. You'll definitely take this one, the Cathedral of Atonement. It's 3-star plus card. It's just, it could be a lot better. There's a lot better things out there, a lot better locations. Like basically, that is designed to work with this. Partner in Crime. 4 mana 2/5 battle cry. Summon a copy of this minion at the end of your turn. So you play this on a bunch of buffs, like so you can get this like with the whatchamacallit, the Cathedral of Atonement, and you get a 2/4/6s on turn 4, and that's great. Or you can play this with like other buffs, and you can get like if the elixirs come back, you can put elixirs on this. So overall, like even on its own, if you play 4 mana for 2/2/5s, that's still really good. I mean, that's still really good. So like I would give that right there 4 stars. Like it's a 4-star card just because of that. But the upside is really strong. And then what else does Priest have? Priest has the light, it burns. Deal damage to a minion equal to its attack. 1 mana light bomb. So again, really, really, really strong removal. This works on a lot of things. It's a 5-star card. Better than Shadow or Death. I think Death is better than like you're losing 1 mana. It's 1 mana less, but I think Death is better than this just because like anything with 3 or more attack is a lot easier to trigger than deal damage equal to its attack. Because there's enough times where it's going to be like 1 or 2 damage off. But I still think it's a 5-star card. I still think it's a super premium removal. And speaking of super premium removals, we have this. Clear the Scene. Destroy all minions with 3 or less attack, infuse 6 or less. So basically a 5 mana board clear. 5 mana dual set of board cleared. We've seen those from Priests. Those are really good. So what's this? This is a 4-star card. Not much needs to be said there. The infuse 3 is not that hard to pull off. Although sometimes that means you can't bait it out. You do need to play the things to activate the infuse 3. And then finally, Suspicious Usher. Battlecry, discover a legendary minion. If your opponent guesses your choice, they get a copy. So obviously, if you get this with Zyrella's your opponent will not be able to use Zyrella, so you just pick this. Doesn't matter if they guess it because they just get a 4/4. But again, this is like the other suspicious cards where you want to play this and you want to, how would I describe it? You don't want to take the best choice because your opponent is going to want to take the best choice. You want to take like the second best choice in order for your opponent not to get it. But again, hey, discover a legendary minion. Like sometimes you'll just get something really, really good. So overall, 1 mana 1/3, discover something. That itself, Suspicious Usher, a 4-star card. And then finally, we've got Rogue here. So the Rogue synergies. Synergy number 1 is basically secrets. Rogue has secrets again. Which is, okay, let's just take a look at the secrets here. Okay, secret number 1. When your opponent spends all their mana, draw 2 cards. So it seems like this would be good. But here's the problem. So the problem with the problem with this is this. You don't want to play this early on. You don't want to play this on turn 2 because you're just playing 2 mana to do nothing. So you want to play this in the mid game to the end game. But by the mid game to the end game, your opponent will be able to figure it out. Because they may not do that, or they may not play all their mana. They'll be able to figure it out, and they know from here, because the other 2 secrets: kidnap, play a minion; sticky situation, play a spell. So either they just play a minion or they play a spell, and if those don't work, they know what it is, and they're not going to spend all their mana. And so the double cross. At the point where you would want to play this for card draw, your opponent is not going to be able to. Your opponent will be able to figure out, okay, don't spend all the mana. So it's one of those cards where it's good in the early game. That's when it's going to go off. But that's also the time when you don't want to play this. And in the late game, the time when you do want to play it is when the opponent's going to be able to figure it out, and the opponent is not going to spend all their mana, especially if you get to like a top deck situation. So double cross is kind of mediocre. Sticky situation, we've had that with Cat Trick before in Hunter. That was fine. And Kidnap, it's kind of like a freezing trap for whatever minions your opponent plays. And sometimes it'll work incredibly well. Sometimes your opponent will just play like a 2-drop. And then your opponent, here, the sack, return your opponent's kidnapped minion to their hand. So instead of paying the 2 mana, you have to kill the 1/4 to get it. You have to kill the 0/4 here to get it back. So ultimately, are these secrets good? Like, Kidnap is really. I think Kidnap's good. I think Kidnap is a 3-star card. I think it's a fair card. Like, I think it's a good secret. The other secrets, like Double Cross, is Sticky Situation, a 3-star minus card, just because sometimes your opponent doesn't have the spell. And Double Cross, like, it will go off sometimes it won't. It's a 2-star card. So they're good, but they're not great. They're not something you build your deck around. So, and then it leads to this problem here. Private Eye, cast the secret from your deck, combo, cast 2 instead. So if you don't have secrets, it's garbage. If you got 1 secret, it's good. If you got 2 secrets, it's great. I don't think you're going to have the secrets. Like, even though they're all commons, I don't think you're going to want to pick the secrets. Maybe you pick the Private Eye early, and then you pick it with, try to build a deck around secrets. Ultimately, I'm not really sold on it. I think Private Eye is a 2-star card. And then finally, Halkias. Death Rattle, if you control a secret, store Halkias soul inside of it. It resummons when triggered. So remember, these secrets are incredibly easy to trigger. It's either play a minion, play a spell, or play all your mana. So your opponent can, if your opponent kills it, your opponent can get rid of the secret almost certainly, unless it's the play all your mana one. So if it's play a minion or play a spell, they can get rid of it pretty easily, which means you need to have this live and then play a secret on itself to do something with it. So is that going to happen? I think too much setup. So ultimately, I think it's just a 4-drop there. So Halkias, 3-star card. So that's a secret stuff. There might be secrets that come in from the old sets, and we'll see there. All right. So the other thing that, okay, so that's like synergy number 1. Synergy number 2 that broke. Oh, and here I almost forgot this. The Ghastly Gravedigger. If you control a secret, choose a card in your opponent's hand to shuffle in their deck. So basically, it's a 3 mana and get rid of one of your opponent's cards if you have a secret. So again, you need to play this on the same turn as your secret. And because it's in your opponent's hand and not like on the board or anything, like there was the 1 mana 1/2 that was kind of like a sap plus freezing trap. So this is not that. I think for the most part, it's just like a regular 3-drop with the occasional upside of giving you some card advantage, which itself is a 3-star card. So 6 cards built around secrets, which are kind of mediocre. So the other thing that you have here is you got like 2 cards that go with this. You got Necrolord Draka, which is kind of like which is decent, and you got the Sinstone Graveyard, which I'll go over here. You've only got 2 charges of this, but summon a 1/1 Stuffed Ghost has +1/+1 for each other card you've played this turn. So you get 2 charges of this. So if you play like 4 cards off this, you get a 5/5 Stealth. If you play this like on turn 2, you could theoretically play this on turn 2, then trigger the effect, and you would have a 2/2 Stealth with the location. So basically what you want to do is you want to play a bunch of small stuff so that you can get your Stuffed Ghost up as much as possible. So that's kind of like the second secret, second synergy, where you want just like to play a bunch of stuff on curve. And that is possible in Arena. I mean, I'm not going to say it's possible. Definitely not impossible. I think the Sinstone Graveyard is probably like a 4-star to 5-star card, give or take, just because like you're going to get a tremendous amount of value from it, and like even if you get like two 2/2s out of it, it's basically equivalent to a Frostwolf Kennel, which is like a 4-star card. So you're going to get more out of it. So ultimately, I think it's a 5-star card because you will get a ton of value out of a 2-mana card. The other one you have here is Necrolord Draka. Battlecry, equip a 1/3 dagger, +1 attack for each other card you've played this turn. So, okay, on curve, not a great card. But you play 2 cards, you get a 3/3 weapon with a 3/4, and that's great. You can get 3 cards, 4 cards, 5 cards. I mean, that's entirely possible. So in the mid to late, so on curve, it's okay. It's not bad. You can coin this out. You get a 2/3 dagger plus this, and that's really good. Or you can play it with like some of the other cheap stuff that they have. You can play it with like a serrated bone spike. Deal 3 damage to a minion. If it dies next turn, this turn costs 2 less. So you deal this, you get a 2 mana discount. You get to play a bunch of stuff on the same turn. You can see how it benefits both the graveyard and Draka. Same thing here. Door of Shadows. Draw a spell. Infuse 2. Add a temporary copy to your hand. 1 mana. Draw a card. Cycle. That's fine. You get the copy. You can just play the copy there. That's a bonus card. If it's something cheap, you just use that. You activate your other things. I mean, those are good cards. So we go back up to the Serrated Bone Spike. It's just a solid removal on curve. I think that's 4-star plus card because you get a removal. And you get mana from it. I mean, that's just really good. Door of Shadows. I think that it's basically like you get to draw a spell. I mean, it's a 3-star card. It's 1 mana cycle. I mean, that's good. All right, that's it for those 4 classes. I will be back in the last video with Shaman, Warlock, and Warrior. So I will see you guys there.